have some great tips for you for styling ice and beverages. Now, when you're doing drinks, they can be a little bit problematic because with anything that's going to melt really quickly, you got to shoot it fast. I also think that when you're doing beverages, you need to have the appropriate glassware and you need to have the appropriate ice. This right here would be used for a delicious Coca-Cola or a glass of water. Even a giant glass of milk would be fine. Here we have a martini glass. We have a wine glass. This is a really beautiful cocktail coup that you could use for a Manhattan or any number of sort of classic cocktails. This would be a hot beverage glass. Coffee, tea would make sense, an Irish coffee if you're going into the boozy realm. Beer mug, classic, good old Americana beer mug. We have a nice rocks glass here that would be great for a bourbon. Ice comes in a million different forms. Everyone has different types of ice that come out of the machine in their refrigerator. There's all different types of ice cube trays that you can buy. I just have 3 different variations here. The first being these large cubes that had come out of a silicone mold. These nice big silicone molds you can find at Bed Bath & Beyond, at Target, any major retailer like that sells them. And these are wonderful to use as a big old hunk of ice for, say, a whiskey drink in a glass like this. It's very nice. It's a very elegant way to show a whiskey drink. Then we have just kind of your standard ice that you would buy at a supermarket. It's a little bit irregular. It's not the most beautiful ice, but if it were in a glass, say, for a soda, it completely makes sense. This is probably what you might see in a restaurant, is some ice that looks about like this. I've got some crushed ice. This is ice that it was just regular old cubed ice that we put in the food processor to break it up. This is great to use. You can use this under a bed of oysters, but you can also use it for a mint julep. In fact, it's what you have to use for a mint julep. It is the specific ice for this drink. And since we have this cute little pewter cup, this is the ice that we would use. So for styling purposes, if you're talking about building a drink in a cup like this that you're not even going to see the inside, you're actually just not even going to see any of the whiskey in there, it's mostly important to make sure the top of it looks good. And by doing so, you can just take a pick and you can kind of move it around. If you think it looks a little too flat, you can add a little bit more, and it looks like a nice slushy sort of beverage. And, if it were Derby Day and we were having mint juleps and you stuck a little sprig in here, no one would know the difference, right? It looks like an actual drink that's already completed, even though there's no whiskey in it at all.